People will resolve the, quote, problem, unquote, of God speaking to himself at events like the baptism of Jesus, his prayers, and other events like that. They'll say, what? Was God talking to himself? So God said to God, huh? Well, that's a contradiction in terms, because they are saying God talks to himself. They are merely extending it out by saying God talks to themselves, because they insist that God is one, who is three people. Or they use the language persons, which I believe is just kind of a weasel word to soften it, to make it not sound like three gods. And I believe they're sincere to a certain extent, at least the people who believe what the higher-ups do. That's why I always put it on the leaders. The leaders are the ones who are knowingly evil and dishonest in these things. But the people below, so to speak, just regurgitate whatever they hear. But again, that illustrates the contradiction. They say, what is God talking to himself, while saying God, people are talking to themselves, are talking to each other. It's one God who's having a conversation in those instances. The thing I wanted to point out, though, is the more subtle goal of the devil, I believe, in this, because clearly after the counsel of his own will, that's what Paul said, he counsels with his messengers, the angels, as Isaiah said, Isaiah 44. And we counsel within ourselves. We, that is, each individual one of us, we have a conscience. The Greek word for conscience includes, as its definition, co-perceive. To co-perceive something is to consider both sides. Not that you are one person considering one side and you are another person considering the other side, but you can co-perceive. You can walk and chew gum, as the saying goes, and you can do it from a moral standpoint, and you can figure things out. But because the devil wants us, it's kind of ironic, because it's like the devil wants us under the heading of this lockstep, religious, one way or the highway mode of doing things. He uses this Trinity lie to get us off the path of listening to that voice within, because it can only be this rock that has been constructed, this statue, this lawgiver who is in granite, who is granite itself, and there is no life, whereas we know our God is a living God, and we can listen to our living God and walk with our living God, and yes, live with our living God. Life means things are happening, and you will hear the voice of this living God. That's why he said, I will be with you, and I will bring to remembrance all things that I taught you, and I will teach you the truth. That's what his Spirit does. So that's why we communicate with him. We commune with him. We walk with him. We learn with him. It's a living experience. It's not a changing of the rules. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the truth is living and breathing. He doesn't change with the whims of the moment. The truth is the truth. The trick, though, that the devil incorporated into this is getting you to ascribe to or subscribe to a set of rules, because to trust the voice of God who is living within you is to trust your flesh. They'll always say that you're in your flesh if you deviate or go off the path that has been devised for you by the religion. Very clever. I think it's very clever. They actually use kind of a one or singularity concept within their polytheistic belief to get you to not listen to God, in essence.